Rob, can you hear me? Oh, he disappeared. Rob, can you hear
I
me?
can indeed. How are you?
Oh my gosh, so
Yeah.
good to see you, brother. This is my mom, Carolyn Smith.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
Mama Rush. Hey, how are you?
No, doing great. So good to
Oh, nice
finally
to meet
meet
you.
the Rob.
Absolutely, Rob. I don't want you to be scared, but I got eye surgery today, so that's why I had
Man,
to. That's why I had to wear the shades, man.
you're all good. You're all good. And
Rob,
Mama
thanks.
Rush, I love it. What a treat.
Yeah, man. Rob's mom, Rob, helped me find my place in New York, and he's just been a great friend and been supportive the whole entire time.
Great, Rob. Well, I've heard many wonderful things about you. And your shoes preceded you. Okay.
Nice. Rob, one thing I wanted to do was before we get, I mean, we're starting now, but a couple things, man. How are you guys doing? Because I know you guys were in the fire, and I sent you a message. How are you guys doing with that?
We're doing great. I appreciate you asking. Have some friends that unfortunately lost their homes. They've got as good of an attitude as they can about it, but we, as a company and personally, donated a lot of shoes to families that needed it. And then we took a portion of every shoe pair sold throughout that month and donated to the Fire Foundation, both for the firefighters and the families
Oh
affected.
man,
That is so.
Rob, you're a good man. Your parents did well, brother. They really did well. Rob, I wanted to ask you from the start.
Well,
I had to do that a few times. You're the founder of Wear Stand, is that correct?
Stand shoes, yeah, Stand Plus or Stand.
Okay. Then are they called? I want to make sure I get the name correct. Are they called Gales?
So we used to be called Gales, and the brief story on that, we founded these for nurses. Nurses were on their feet during the pandemic, and they were having a real rough go, still having a rough go. And I come from a footwear background, was making luxury dress shoes that felt like socks and flexed and breathed, and had some personal run-ins on the COVID side of thing in our family and people close to us. And I ended up volunteering with a nurse group here in the States and just asked, what problems do you have that no one solved? And a universal truth was they all had issues with their feet, either contracting fluids and diseases in the ER and ICU because they're wearing Crocs or on clouds or things that fluids get through, and having a really difficult time with their knees, back, and joints. Standing for 16-hour days is really part of the body. And athletic shoes aren't designed to support that. They put energy up, but that means the ground's pushing back. And so a lot of nurses wearing the athletic shoes were feeling it in their knees, back, and joints. So we joked to call it the slowest shoe in the world, one that does the opposite.
I absolutely love that.
So yeah, and so we named it after Florence Nightingale, founder of modern nursing. We still have two Gale lines that exist, and then a lot of people outside of nursing were wearing the shoes. So we realized you've got running shoes for running, hiking shoes for hiking, and we've got a standing shoe for standing. So there came the new name.
Oh man, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Like I was telling everybody, I actually wear those. The pair you gave me, which I really thank you for. I've worn those on every single set that I've been on in Los Angeles. So 911, I wear them because they're comfortable. They're literally easy to put on. They fit in my bag, and like it's easy to put them on, easy to wear them in. I work out in them, especially when it rains in LA. Like I've literally worn those through the rain. I walk 20 minutes to the LA Fitness. Yeah, and my feet don't get wet.
I love it. Yep, fully fluid barrier protective.
Yeah, man.
Rod, let me tell you, when I went to Brandon's apartment in California, he had those shoes right at the door, right on the stand. He was putting them on, and I said, what are those shoes, Brandon? And he started to explain how comfortable they are. And then also those other ones you made, those it's the leather shoes,
those.
the dress shoes.
The dress shoes gave me.
Those shoes are so beautiful, but we're going to get back to the shoe and the nurses. I used to be a pharmaceutical rep, and so I was always in the hospital selling medicines to doctors and doing preceptorships. So I used to see the nurses on their feet all day long, and then when I would preceptor with physicians, I'd be on my feet all day long, but trying to wear heels and be cute, but hurting in the hospital with those floors and walking down those hallways. I'm so glad that you discovered a shoe that's most comfortable for the hard work that they do, physicians as well as nurses, as well as the janitors and people cleaning rooms and all kinds of things in the hospital setting. So I can't wait to get my pair, but I will purchase my pair.
Oh, now, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. Do they come in different colors?
They sure do. So we've got, I'll take you to the wall back here.
It's please do, Rob.
It's just a few of them, but
hey, that's right. Oh, wow. That's not
whole
a
range of
big
options here. We got some that aren't out yet, but yeah, a lot of colors. Any color you want, we probably got it covered. And if there's one that you need that we don't have, let me know and we can make that too.
That's awesome.
Could you just show a shoe?
Rob, can you show? Mom was one. Go ahead, Mom.
I wanted to see one of the shoes again. He went so fast over that shoe rack. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
So
That's what I want to see.
yeah,
Man, dude, they're so comfortable. Like, I
Wow.
love them, man. So it's not just for people outside of being nurses would love those shoes too,
Yes,
because they really are that
exactly.
comfortable. I
yeah.
have
So
the
we
I have
got
the
white
whites.
ones. These ones got black. Navy's really popular too. They go really well with uniforms, but they're
Yeah.
lightweight, they're breathable, and they custom mold with heat,
Yeah.
kind of like a mouth guard.
Oh wow.
The 2 feet are the same. So either with wear, the natural heat in your feet will custom form it to your foot, or what we find a lot of people do, hit them with a hair dryer for about 15 seconds to get them
Okay.
warm, and put your foot in, and it will mold to your exact foot shape.
Holy smokes! Wow.
Are they easy to clean?
Mine are.
Super. You can throw them in the wash machine.
Can't beat it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That is right. I really love those, Rob. I really love them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Rob,
Yeah.
I mean, you're a genius, man. Since I've known you, you've been a person who I personally appreciate you so much because one of the things that you, for the last 10 years, you've always said to me is courage is everything. And with that being courage is everything, what to you means courage is everything? And then where did you get that from originally? Because I think you mentioned your grandfather to me at one point, maybe years ago. Am I wrong?
Yeah, yes. My great grandpa actually lived in Shanghai and was a shoe salesman. I didn't find this out until years into my footwear journey. My coaching on it probably would have been good if you told me that a little bit earlier on.
Yeah.
But when the war broke out, my grandma had met my grandfather, soon to be, in the Shanghai American Student School, and they got separated when it got invaded. And so she made it on the boat, but he got held back. And he actually got taken prisoner. He was interned. And he said, well, so do this. So he gave her his family ring, said, take this as a promise. This is our family crest. And somehow, some way, I'm going to find my way back to you.
Wow.
So she took that ring. She got on the boat. He was taken prisoner. Almost a year later, he got freed and was on a boat on the way back. They wrote each other letters. They're numbered. They're dated. You can
Yes.
see yay high.
Oh, amazing.
And it's an amazing story. And so he was on his way back to San Francisco, where my grandma had escaped to. And their last fuel stop on the boat was in Hawaii. Well, if you know why that's significant with the war, right before their boat arrived was the attack on Pearl Harbor.
What?
So my grandma listened to the radio station, hears his boat sunk. She thinks she's never going to see him again. Meanwhile, they broke the flag off the back. They repainted the ship, put a new call sign on it. They were the first commercial vessel in after the attack, and they helped with the efforts. It's a newspaper article. It says, student escapes attack at high seas at war's outbreak, about my grandfather in the Wall Street Journal. So long story short, he had her last known address, and he showed up on her doorstep Christmas Day, 1942, proposed on the spot, got the ring back, went on to enlist to become the medical commander for the Allied forces, and served in Okinawa for another 32 months. So I have his tags around my neck.
Oh, amazing.
Courage is everything is because there used to be a time when people had really strong beliefs and they weren't afraid to put their head down, put in the work, and do the difficult things to push forward. And my grandparents, nothing was going to keep them from being apart. And that took a lot of courage, both to survive through that and to find their way back to each other. And so courage is everything is a reminder that when you wake up in the morning, it's a lot of tough things in life, but if you have the courage to take that step, sometimes just taking the step is all that counts.
Amen.
And if you keep taking step after step, you're going to get to where you want to go.
Rob, I'm moved by that. First off, it definitely shows why you are the man that you are today, and why I'm proud of you. I know your family and friends are proud of you, but like that your grandfather set that tone and your grandmother set that tone of that's almost an impossible story, but yet they still managed to make that work in an age of no cell phones, no communications like that. In fact, would they have dial-up back then, I think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Rob, you were supposed to be here because we're here talking. And I said, God has a way of finding people. Good people always find each other in this world. Great marriages come from that, and great children who continue to impact society. And what you did during the pandemic and thinking about all the people and how you could better serve them, that comes through that DNA in your family. Your grandparents have gone on now to be with the Lord, or are they still in this earth? Okay.
They're still here.
And
Yeah.
They're still here.
No, but I feel them.
Oh, yeah. I know that's right. Amen.
Yeah.
We always carry our parents. I mean, they are going to always be in us. And sometimes you can look in the some features of theirs. And the older you get and the more you look at yourself, you say, "Oh, I see something." And so this is wonderful. Now tell me, you're married?
Yes, I am. I got my favorite gold medal I ever earned right here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's hear all about Dr. Allison.
Your wife
Yeah.
is a physician, or what is her specialty?
So she's a naturopathic doctor
Oh,
specializing
okay.
in both traumatic brain injury as well as gut health. And there's a
Oh,
really
oh.
high correlation between the two. So she serves, her dad is also a naturopath and focuses on traumatic brain injury as well as an MD. They do a lot with the military. People think that concussions only come from if you physically get hit, but anytime an explosion goes off, no matter how big or small, it creates inflammation in the brain. So even if you're just around that environment, it's oftentimes when our men and women come back, they end up not feeling themselves. And so they work on a high level oversimplification is reducing inflammation in the brain so the
Uh-huh.
pathways can connect that they should.
Mhm.
And what Allie, my wife, does a lot of, both with military as well as a civilian population, is healing the gut because the gut and the brain are connected. And if you can reduce inflammation in your body, really the goal, let your body do what it's supposed to do. It's built and it does a really good job of taking care of itself. And when things happen, it stops receptors, it changes the hormone levels. And the solution for some might be, but for her path is not by take a pill and call me in the morning. It's let's actually
Mhm.
find out what's going on with you and see if we can get back your body back to doing what it's naturally great at and balancing out your levels and feel yourself
Well,
again.
that's most interesting to know that the brain and the gut, there's a connection there, because I know there's a bacteria, H. pylori, that's
Yes,
just natural bacteria in the body, in the
that's
stomach.
right.
It resides there. But I
Look at
never
you.
knew
Yeah,
about that connection.
you know.
I'm a scientist.
Yeah, you know.
But I never knew that connection when I sold medicines. I sold reflux medications.
Yeah.
This is interesting to know. And thank you for sharing that piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean,
Of
you guys
course.
have like the best. You guys are like literally the best team. I know a lot of people are going to college, and that's coming up. How does I don't know where you're originally from. I think you're from NorCal, but I'm gonna have you
Yeah.
tell me where you're from. You from NorCal?
Yeah, Northern California originally. School in
Oh,
Colorado. Lived in the UK for a bit. LA, New York, San Diego, where I met Allie. Malibu for a little bit. Now we're up in Ventura County.
okay. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So how do you get from being, well, I would say from the start of being in NorCal, how do you get to what inspired you? Obviously, your grandfather did, but how do you go from being your GQ model at some point?
I can
You're
see that look.
Forbes under 30, obviously for a reason, and then you're a Forbes Next 1000 as well, which is everything you've done is literally proof of that, and you've done it with your heart and soul.
Yeah,
So,
I think really it's two things. It's following passion and solving problems. And actually, one of the kindest compliments that was ever paid to me was someone who represents book authors. I contemplated writing one at some point. Maybe in the future I'll go back to it. And I just shared my story, and she was, there's people that solve problems, but if I were to sum you up of where your secret sauce is you don't just solve problems, you turn problems into greatness.
Amen.
And it really stuck with me. It was the kindest thing that anybody's ever told to me, honestly. And I hadn't really realized that until I heard it out loud. And that has really fueled pretty much everything that I do now. And what I mean by that is if I look back at my career path and choices and everything, I was always focused on, well, what is a problem that I don't just want to solve, but how can I make it better? So, like at CIA, at the talent agency, realizing that the departments are excellent individually at what they do, but the interconnectivity between the departments, it wasn't as strong as it could be. Now, I can't take full credit for it as some small part in it, but realized, well, a problem is that this department's not talking to this because there's just so much going on in a day. Well, rather than just get them on the phone, let's turn this into greatness. So coming up with how do we package this together in one? So you're coming in for your next film deal, but let's talk about endorsements and lifestyle and licensing and everything else. And
Absolutely.
vice versa for brands. You came in here because you want X to perform at the Super Bowl. We can do that. But what about getting in NASCAR? Jimmy Johnson's going to lose his glove sponsor that's right here. We could pop you here. We've got a comedian, Chelsea Handler, who's doing her next book deal, and we can put you in here. We've got Will Smith and After Earth with his son, and we can get something going on in the green room. And hey, by the way, what do you think about naming rights? Because 49ers Stadium's about to come up for renewal. And so by having those conversations, the problem was this communication, but turning it into greatness was how do we now make this a much greater pie for both the brands and the talent we represented. And so throughout my career path, that was something I wasn't aware I was doing, but in retrospect, that was where I was most passionate about. And the results were measured and felt far beyond just good job today to okay, there's some fundamental change happening. And so I ended up launching my footwear company, which is a story in and of itself. Got promoted to the mailroom, 16-hour days, dress shoes were uncomfortable. I needed something comfortable for myself. Didn't exist. Found a cobbler. So the problem was uncomfortable shoes. I found a cobbler. He gave me a quote, which I could not afford. I was still minimum wage. $1,800. I'm going, that's a lot of PB&J sandwiches. I cannot afford to go without. So I ended up ramen noodles, So I ended up, hey man, we've all been there. So I basically said, well, let's do this. Can I barter with you? What do you need help around here? So he allowed me to come sweep up and clean around the shop and to pay off my dues. And he taught me how to make shoes. And what I learned is not much has changed in how shoes are made. And same Italian classic constructions and techniques. And so I said, okay, well, what happens if I pull some of these things out? And what if I put this material, you can't, I can. And I'm going to, and let's see. And so I ended up not just changing something slightly, but creating a fundamental new kind of shoe that flexed and breathed and felt like socks, but looked like a dress shoe. So now not only could I look good, but I could feel good. And that was the extent of it. I didn't know about my grandfather's story being a shoe salesman. Eventually, enough people had asked about the shoes. So I said, how hard can it be to start a shoe company? And let me tell you, next 18 months, pretty much everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Man,
it was
I believe.
rough.
Yeah.
But
Rob, that's what Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose is all about.
That's
even though you went through, encourages everything. Even though you went through all those obstacles to get it done, you still have the connection with your grandfather, which you found out later. But at the time, you were following your heart, and that when that the man that did teach you how to do the shoes said that you can't do that, you said you can. So that's why you say can't lose. So I just love that relates to that part of that. And also, I wanted to say, I know you have a sister and then your two parents. I did want to bring them up because I think it's important that they obviously had a huge impact on you. I know you love your niece to death. Yes, I know how it is because I have nephews and nieces, so I know how that feels.
Yeah.
I wanted you to talk about, if you wouldn't mind, if you had a few minutes.
Yeah.
Your parents, how they inspired you or what they did to inspire, what they did with their jobs, and then your sister, because you guys are a tight family and they support you to the fullest. I've seen it.
Yeah, we do. It's great. Each of my family members plays a very impactful role and in different ways. So it's a really nice support system. I'm very lucky to grow up getting to have food on the dinner table at night and parents I could talk to and a sister. And, we've had our years, but I love her to death.
We all do.
She's a lot bigger than me and older than me. So it comes with the territory. But I love her to death. My dad has been really instrumental when things got really tough. And it started to show up when at one point I remember I'd hit a really big low when I was out in New York and lost a job and someone that I was with and finances and the shoe company being tough and friends changing. And it was just everything. It felt like all at once. He's got this ability to slow things down. And he goes, so, all right, when's your rent due? 2 weeks. Okay. Do you have enough to pay rent? I do. Okay. So you got at least 2 weeks. So, all right, that's done. What's next? You got food in your fridge? I don't. Okay. Go get some food in your fridge. Call me back. You got food in your fridge? Yeah. Okay. So you got a roof over your head. You got something to eat. All right. Now, you've been in this spot before. And what happened? Did you roll over and die or did you end up a little bit farther along? The next time, said a little bit farther along this time. And he goes, okay, now you remember this time. We're going to hit the bottom. What happened after? You get a little bit farther along and a little bit further ahead and you learn a lot more. Yeah, he goes, the same thing. You've got an ability to figure it out. And you've been in this position before and you already know that you can get out of it. So at this point, you got roof over your head, you got food in your fridge. You got plenty of time. I'm here. I can help you kind of put some frameworks on things, but you got this. And so
Yeah.
it just really helped ground me, help me realize that no matter how tough life gets, there's always a path forward should you choose there to be. And just he was really strong in reminding me that I have it in me to pick myself up and move forward. My mom is amazing. She shoots it straight.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, there's no sugarcoating. A sweet lady, but there's no sugarcoating. But yeah, and I love her for that, right? Because I think to really love somebody is to be able to tell them difficult things that might not be great to hear, but are important to hear. And I'll never forget this. I won't go on this, but I was very, very, very severely bullied growing up, far beyond anybody that I ever met before. And this is not a woe is me. It's just a matter of fact. And I just remember one night my mom pulled me out of bed. She sat me down, and I was really having a tough, ugly cry and all this stuff.
That's
And
all right though. Men cry, man.
yeah, yeah. And she goes, so listen, you get two choices. You can either crumble and just be weak and be this, and that's the rest of your life, or you can build yourself up. But there's really two choices here. And it came at the right time, was very direct, and I took it to heart. This is my mom. She cares for me and wants me to grow up happy, successful, and loved. And so I took that to heart, and I've been practicing that ever since is, okay, when difficult things happen, you get two choices. And so far, I've always been choosing that path of let's build ourselves up. So I'm really thankful for that. And then my sister, we have this unspoken bond. I can send her, there's two emojis that we send each other, and it's an inside joke that we both know. Um, but it's weird. Like she'll be having a really rough time, and I feel it, and I'll call her.
Empath.
Yeah, and she just goes, "How did you know?" I go, "I just know," and we talk, or vice versa. I'd be having a really rough time. Thankfully, I feel like I'm in a great spot now. I mean, there's a lot of not great years to get me to the good years,
Yes.
but she just knows, and I know that no matter what happens in this world, I can give her a phone call, she'll pick up, we'll talk, and she's there for me. So I really, really love my family for the way that they are, and just support.
Yeah.
Well,
I think there's some,
I can see
yeah, I think there's something to
it comes
be,
through.
yeah. And I'm going to give you, Mama Rush, a compliment here. There's something to be said about parents showing up, families showing up, friends showing up. I see you too, and it makes me so happy to finally, get to meet you. You raised an incredible son, and there's a reason why whenever Brandon texts me, calls me, whatever, I always answer. I can't say that for everybody in life.
Thanks,
But
bro.
Brennan's one of those. And so the fact that you're here supporting your son, I'm sure you've been doing that behind the scenes, on the scenes, and everything in between throughout his life. I'm thankful for you, for him. I'm thankful for my family and my parents. And it takes a village.
It
I'm an
really
independent person, but I'm not shy to ask for help. And it takes a lot of help. And so the fact that you're here supporting your son, I
Thank
know he
you.
already knows this, but it's incredible to see.
Well, we love it when we have a child or children that work hard. They've had their ups and downs. And as long as we're here to encourage them and lift them up when things are hard, and then when they're sad, to try to talk through that process. And Brandon encourages me as much as I try to encourage him, and especially when his daddy died of pancreatic cancer. That has been a tough time. And I mentioned to Brandon, grief is something you can't tell anybody to get over, because I go through that with that process as well. So it's a daily thing with grief. But with that, I can see his father. I can see Brandon's dad. And when he's doing something, he's talking with me about something, I can hear his father come through. And I said, Brandon, sometimes when you miss your father, just look in the mirror. You will see him. You will see your father.
Thanks, Mom.
I love that.
Well, Rob, I know your time's limited. Look, brother, we're here for you anytime. Anything at all, just hit me up. I'll
Likewise,
anytime.
you
I'll
already
share
know.
posts, anything. You know it. You got it. Because we're doing really well. We're about to hit 1 million views.
Yes, let's
In
go.
5 days. So we're doing all right, man. So we got
All right.
we got the public that's behind us, man. So they'll be behind you too after I get this posted.
Can I ask one question? Okay, what is your website as far as the shoes? Because I wanted to go in and look at the styles, and I started doing that before Brandon brought you online. And so
Yeah.
I need to have you give us that out there.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to make the shoes? And shipping, how quickly can you get shoes to people? I know a lot of doctors, I still have physician friends, and one who's a director of a major hospital. Do want to have you give that to us while we're still online, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's standshoes.com, STAND shoes.com.
Okay.
We've got a lot of inventory here in the States, and we produce them in North America. So if we
Okay.
sell out, we're producing about every 30 days. We have a new production run. But anything that's in stock and on site, it usually takes about a business day to process, and then they're out the door.
Okay.
Okay, great. That's great. And you said these shoes can be washed in the washing machine as well?
They can indeed. So they're bleach friendly. You can wipe them down with a cavi wipe or bleach wipe, look brand new, closed cell, and antimicrobial. So we
Oh,
published
great.
clinical studies that they're the only shoe ever been tested in a healthcare setting that has been demonstrated to reduce strike through, if not prevent
Okay.
strike through of
Okay.
fluids and reduce the overall spread of infection. And very, very easy to put both the insole and the outsole in the washing machine.
What's
Nice.
the largest size you make? I'm thinking about basketball players and football players, and some of them, what Shaq size is what 22 shoe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I have another son who's a size 15. So how big can you make? How long?
We got them covered. We go up
Width
to
and height. Yeah.
size, yeah, we currently go up to size 15 men's, 17 women's.
Holy
Okay.
smokes.
It's likely we'll be expanding that as well because we do have a lot of NBA, NFL, MLB, MLS players wearing the shoes. So
Okay,
even
great.
larger sizes are coming.
Oh,
Okay,
good to hear.
great. That's good to hear. Okay.
All right, Rob, I think we got everything, man. As I said, you're always welcome back on. Don't think that it's just this is one time. It's plenty of times. And then when I get there in April, May, whenever, I can go behind the scenes and get any stuff that you need.
That sounds
Oh,
great.
and at least we'd like to have for our page too to post up.
Yeah,
So it's for us too. But if you would mind
absolutely.
showing us.
And thank you
Absolutely.
for helping Brandon in New York
Oh
when he was
man,
there and
seriously,
helping
Rob.
him find a place
man,
to
I would
stay.
I would not be where I am today if you did not ask those people on Facebook could I crash, because I told you I was trying to start my career, and I literally am here because you helped me.
Well, you make his list. You make the list
For life,
for life.
bro. All right,
I got
man.
you.
Well, look, give everyone my best. I'm happy for you, happy for your baby, everything.
A baby.
I
How old is
do. She's almost 5 months. There's Mia.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Mia. I think the audio cut out. Call you. Let's see.